Now, this should put everybody to rest. For all of the doubters and non-believers that didn't think that Anthony Mack could become the new Captain America over Bucky, Outside the Wire is a showcase of skills of Anthony Mack's true ability. When you see Outside the Wire, is an amazing movie on Netflix. And if you haven't seen it, trust me, we about to go diving into it because it's the truth. Let's do this. I'm diving. Whoa, what's good with your YouTube and YouTube busted? Your boy Triple Cup Chuck and I'm up. And appreciate you for coming rock with me, like, sharing, and subscribing. And if you have an opinion about the situation that's going on, leave a comment below. I'm gonna read it. Because when you comment, our collective minds put together, we bring synergy. This how we starting the video off? Now that the introduction's out the way, this is gonna be spoilerific, but I'm gonna try to hold the spoilers for a moment. And let's break the show down to 3 topics. 1, the action. 2, the writing. 3, world building. And since I said action first, lights, camera, action. So if you're looking for an action-packed thriller that you can watch during the coronavirus pandemic, this will be the ultimate one for you. It will be an in-between of Daredevil from the Netflix original series, not the Daredevil movie, Captain America Civil War, and Outside the Wire is an on-edge, jaw-dropping, action-packed experience. Now let's move along to the second one. The second one is the writing. Now for me personally, the writing was decent for a Netflix series. Now some people we have up in edge thinking about it's supposed to be like some super big blockbuster Marvel movie, but in actuality it's a low B budget movie. Such a high class medium B movie, it would almost be considered a A category movie. That's why you see a lot of people have it twisted when they talk about the writing of the movie and how some of the scenes don't add up. Like they have one scene, it even caught me off guard. Well, like they'll send a warhead to blow up something, and all of a sudden they was able to escape out of the vicinity of the area in a blink of an eye. Like people cannot run that fast. Even if you was in a vehicle, you would not be able to escape the blast radius. Now with that being said, you have to overlook some of these smaller details only because this is not no AAA blockbuster movie. So now I'm looking at other YouTubers talk about their opinion about Outside the Wire, and they were saying, oh, I like Anthony Mack, he's a good character. The dude named Hartman, he's a good character. But the whole thing about it was they ain't have enough character development where you didn't get attached or actually cared about the characters and what they was capable of and what they was here to do. The terrorist was subpar. You didn't know who he was, why he was doing it. They gave you a little flashback and recap of who he was and what he did, but it wasn't enough to get you involved in what he was up to. Now, the 2 main characters had the same issues that Anthony Mack, even though he was playing some type of 4th dimensional robot, that he had more humanity inside of him than humanity had for themselves. So that perspective, I like the difference of the writing because they was making him be more emotional and have more feelings than actually humans have, and why he was doing it and what drove him to do what he was doing, because his actions was led about what he's seen and what he known from being a robot. He was what, 5 years old? And within a 5-year lifespan, he was able to notice the difference between good and evil and the shady gray area of what people associate good with. And he was there to disrupt the whole formula of what people thinking is, and they had it, and he was one of his kind, and he was looking at himself would be the new face of war and an ever-ending war. And therefore he felt like if he go malfunction and do something so extreme that they will scrap the whole project of the robots, and therefore it will help in eternal wars. That was Anthony Mack's concept of war. Sacrifice 1 million to save 10 million. That's why he recruited Hawk, because he seen Hawk was able to sacrifice 2 to save 30. But like all good movies, Hawk have a revolution at the end and decide to do things different and go by thinking in a different manner, because the world is a different place when you go from looking behind the camera to actually being on the front line. So they gave Hawk the opportunity to see that they actually have real civilians that have real lives that goes through this on a day-to-day basis, and it's not no video game. So they give him a revelation to actually change his mentality and his thoughts about the way he went about doing things and changing the concept. Now with that being said, that will make the writing actually good for me, because it was similar to a lot of movies that we already have seen, but it was different in the ways of how they executed and the concept of why they was doing the things that they was doing. They was trying to put into a concept that a robot can actually have more humanity than humanity itself. Well, with that being said, we about to go into the world building now. Let me categorize world building into a perspective. What I mean by that is, could Outside the Wire actually have a sequel? Will they bring Anthony Mack back? Could they continue the story without Anthony Mack? How could they come around and build on different perspective of the story, as in not just they individuality? Would they bring in other characters, and you could be able to follow other characters inside of this one particular universe? In my perspective, it does, but it don't. See, the whole thing about it being so futuristic is like not dead far into the future, but just far enough where you'll see some advancements, like with the robots and how they have the robots is working on both sides of the field. So you don't just see they have the robots working for the United States, you'll have the robots working for Russia, and then they be fighting against each other. So they get an opportunity for the characters to sit back and play like a video game. But the world building of this type of a movie, Outside the Wire, will have to consist of the army base. Now they'd box itself inside of this category of the army base actually having the wires and being able to come outside of it, and they had the Anthony Mack character be like a robot that actually was able to think outside the box, outside the wire. And so they pulled out his tracking device, and they were showing you that actual robots can actually outsmart humans inside of a situation. So therefore, will they be able to bring Anthony Mack back as a character himself? Possible, but his money might be way too much for Netflix in the near future, right after Bucky and the Winter Soldier come out. So for me personally, they will have to figure out different ways of expanding this universe. And the only way I can see them by expanding this universe is they start doing more character development inside this universe, because the tone is said, the vibe is said, you can understand the premise of what's going on. They are living in a post-apocalypse wasteland. So they actually had an opportunity to spread a hell of a lot more stories and bring this universe into the forefront. Netflix had themselves a good one, but the thing about with Netflix, they don't capitalize on movies like this. Like the movie Will Smith was in with Bright, where Netflix will give you that one and done, and that's it. Therefore, I would say this is a good watch, and I'm gonna bring something different to you. This how I do my ratings. See, most people, they'll say I give it 1 star, 5 stars, 3 Rotten Tomatoes, and all these other type of things. No, we gonna do this here a way a human being like us, you know what I'm saying, pun intended about the show, but human beings like us could relate to it. I'm gonna say, is this show worth a single watch, a double watch, or triple watch? And see, for me, the highest watch would be 5 times, right? Being able to watch a show 5 times. And the only show that I can get a 5 times watch to would be the Avengers Endgame. Not just the Endgame, but the Infinity War saga. That's a 5-time watch. Now, I'll say a show like Captain Marvel would get a 2 times watch. Like, you'll watch it the first time, and just because it's a Marvel show and they have a lot of Easter eggs, that you'll watch it again for a second time. Hey, I want to make a quick break because I want to give more examples, especially this one for my DC fans. I'm going to say the first Wonder Woman movie, it would get 3 watches. The second Wonder Woman movie, it'll get 2 watches. Now you get a concept. Let me get back to my concept. They have certain shows that get a 3rd watch, like, or I even give a TV series up in here, Money Heist, right? Money Heist will be a TV series, I say, that you can give it a 3 watch. That means I'll watch it 3 times because it's just that damn good. So 3 watches is hella good, but you got to be on some Avengers Endgame to get a 4 or 5 watch, especially out of me. Let's say Spider-Man, he got a 3 watch out of me as well. But anyway, though, this is my thoughts about the show. It's a hell of an ass show, and I give it I say 2 times. I watch 2 watch. Y'all see, this the first time I'm doing it, and that's why I'm not gonna edit that part out, so y'all can see it in its natural vibe for the people that's been rocking with me, that's been rocking when I get 100 times better at this shit, that y'all been rocking with me. Like, yeah, I remember when Chuck came up on a clutch with that. That's what we doing right now. That's why I'm leaving it in here, and I appreciate you rocking with me, and I'm gonna leave that in there just for us, because remember, I don't do this for me, I do this for we. So like, share, and subscribe. Holla at your boy.